7 is recognized as abnormal, right? So they will do that as the PSA. They also do what we call the digital rectal exam, right? And that exam is done. The doctor have to, it's kind of invasive for men because of the society that we live in, and some people are uncomfortable about it. I think a lot of men don't go because they feel it's kind of invasive and they don't want to go and do it. That exam, the doctor have to use one of the finger to go into the rectum to feel the prostate gland, and this is where men are uncomfortable. But what we are saying, instead of thinking of the discomfort and the whole societal thing that it seems like you're going and do this and there is something wrong with you to have somebody go into your rectum, it's better to do that now than to wait until water more than flow up. So once you hit 40, you start going and get your exam. Doctor will tell you if there is any changes, because once they start examining you and know what that prostate gland feels like, then that give you a good ground, a good basic for when changes started to take place, they will be able to recognize the changes early, and that's what we want, early detection. So persons will know early, you get treatment early, because if say you're like 40 and they detect some changes in your prostate gland that it doesn't feel normal or so, because if there is growth, it will be bigger than normal, because I think the prostate gland is just like a little nut, the ring of his, So once they see any changes, it feels bigger, it feels normal. Usually if it's cancer, you don't really get pain in the early stages. So some people might say that you wait, and when you wait and you start having pain, that's when it's way gone. So once they detect any change early, then you could have surgery early, because then they will do other blood tests and so another screening to make sure where that is what it is. They might want to do a biopsy to make a diagnosis. So right, they don't just make a diagnosis because they see some changes. They will have to do further testing. So once you get that done and out of the way, then they can say, okay, well, it seemed to be this, so maybe we have to go in and do surgery. And if they do, once they catch it early and you get the surgery early, you live well after that, because cancer is treatable, and yes, it's preventable. And so what we want people to make it a birthday gift to yourself. When you celebrate your 40th birthday, make it a gift to go and get screened, get tested.
We take you over to the Sister Isles, as this weekend saw the hosting of the first kayak mass in 2 years. The explosion of kayak mass that was held at the Hillsborough Tennis Court. Rachel Bain journeyed to the Sister Isles and has coverage of the festivities.
And you will keep the hills and the upper region.
Rev.
Prove not so that the battle at hand.
Rev.
They mean to warn us at Philippi here.
Rev.
Answer before I do demon of them.
Rev.
Thought I was in your bosom.
Rev.
And I know wherefore that you do it.
Rev.
You could be content to visit my place and come down with faithful bravery.
Rev.
Thinking by this face,
Rev.
black heart on my chest, that you have courage, but this is not so.
Rev.
Well, the rail jab from the mainland was part of the action this morning as Carriacou stage Jouet part of Kayak Mass 2022. It's been, again, remember, 2 years since there has been an official Jouet, and for the jabs from the mainland, they were happy for the opportunity to play a mass.
party. Just come to that party. She is what I know, she waits like. She want bamboo to touch she need. Yeah, the bamboo or then you roll. After that, can be going home. Everybody moving in time. I'm ready to come, but like take bamboo, yeah. Push back, baby. Push back on the bamboo, baby. Push back, baby. Push back on the bamboo. Push back, baby. Push back on the bamboo, baby. Yeah.
Promoter of the Rail Jab Jab, Stephen Jacobs, also known as Slum, says given the time the celebrations committee had to prepare, that they're pleased with the outcome.
For me, as somebody who involved, it's really good. The people are organized. I say what they did was really good in a short space of time. You know, I believe they had the right idea because they pay for the DJ on the street and charge the vendors. That's how it's supposed to be. You know, vendors not supposed to be, and Marsman not supposed to be spending all this money while the people are organizing, not spending none. You understand? To make sure that the thing look and come off a certain way. And I think that is a really, really good job, and this is the way it should be. I always say, Carnival is about people being free and expressing themselves. And with it being so short, there was not enough time for them to put structures to keep it a certain way. So this is going to be the first Carnival in a long time that people could be free and expressing themselves without a big set of control.
Now, as the bustle continues during the carnival in Carriacou, there does seem to be mixed reactions about the overall developments on the island. One man told MTV News not much has happened over the years, while another said in comparison to years gone by that there have been many improvements. However, he is calling on the government to pay attention to the fishing industry and some other minor developments.
Well, I think it's really good that they're having it because of the COVID, and it's kept people not being able to do what they want for so long. It's some kind of a lovely atmosphere and a relief for them to just to be able to get out and do something and express themselves.
As a visitor, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I wish I had a longer time. And I want it to be a safe, because I went in a few things and I see people want to fight and all that. And that's not what it's about. We come here to have a good time, to have a nice carnival, and we want it to be nice and peaceful.
Right, as I was saying, the carnival is just a rush. But I'm glad for the business places because I drove around the island and I see things selling. But you cannot organize carnival in a week. This carnival was just announced a couple of days ago. So to me, it's just political. That's it.
I'm not a carnival lover. Tomorrow, please God, is Juve morning, but I going to work. I have middle of work doing. So tomorrow morning I'll be working. But I mean, it's a nice thing to see so much people come and support us because for over the last 2 years, Carriacou has lived out in plenty things. It's only, so because of this thing, you know, we've seen a little, you know, like activities, the economy go, somebody go make something.
Well, my thoughts on Carnival 2022, it was a very, very unexpected carnival, but I think it was very good for the people of Carriacou because a lot of Grenadians supported it. For me, Grenada was the better supporters because in business, the Grenadians support Carriacou very well in business.
In another development, former employees of one hotel in the south, along with their union representative, staged a protest over the weekend. They are demanding their severance pay, which they are insisting is owed to them after they were sent home almost 2 years. And that was due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's get more on this from Troy Gill.
Another stage in the struggle for the benefits of the spicing workers. The company has secured close to $900,000 that they had undertaken to pay the workers, but it was on the condition that everyone must be retrenched. This matter is totally unfair, so it will require less monies now because it is less workers who have demanded or requested their payment. And therefore, we are just stepped up what we are doing. It is not our intention to create any chaos in the tourism industry, especially in this period, given the havoc that COVID has wreaked on our economy, but the rights of the workers will not be sacrificed.
That was President of the Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union, Andrew Lewis, during protest action staged by the union and former employees of the Spice Island Beach Resort over the issue of compensation. According to Lewis, workers were retrenched during the height of the pandemic, and as a result of a collective bargaining agreement, they are owed severance. However, the hotel has failed to honor the agreement.
During the COVID period, the hotel closed. They laid off the workers, and then the hotel said that they're going to retrench everybody, but they wanted to pay them probably 1/4 of what the workers were due. The workers rejected that offer from the company and demanded what was due to them under the collective agreement. As a result of that, the company has refused to pay the workers, and therefore that's where we are. Okay. Yes? But we must bear in mind that there are a number of workers who are still working, so that's not the issue. These are for the workers here who have requested their severance.
He says the hotel has been silent on the issue, hence their action on behalf of the workers.
Well, we haven't heard from them for the longest while now. We have not heard from them for the longest while now. And therefore we have just stepped up this action. Right? And that is just the start. We hope that this matter can be resolved. Right? And this action here is entirely bent on bringing about a resolution to this matter.
The workers were laid off at the start of the pandemic in March 2020, and during the 2-year period, the matter was brought before the Labour Commissioner for intervention. However, the matter appears to be no closer to being resolved, and Lewis indicated that they will step up protest action soon. For MTV News, I am Troy Gill.
After a traumatizing experience when a mentally challenged man breached the compound of one primary school in Laurel and St. David, one parent said the majority of students have returned to school on Monday. They appear to be in good spirit. However, some have opted to remain at home, as we hear from Troy Gill.
Grade 1 students of the St. Dominic RSC School had a traumatizing experience last Thursday when a mentally challenged man entered the school compound brandishing a cutlass and chopping on the doors and windows while class was in session, resulting in a number of students not returning to school on Friday. MTV News sought an update and learned that the majority of students returned to school on Monday, and according to one parent and vice president of the Parent Teachers Association, Nicole Cambridge, in a telephone interview, the students appear to be doing well.
So the turnout rate today seems to be much better than Friday. Approximately seven students are still absent, but those that showed up today, they are in good spirits, and we will still get the counselors to have to speak with them, and also the seven that did not show up today, we will also make sure that they get counseling as well.
She also indicated that the school received a visit from officials from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Works seeking to address the issue of security, including the fence surrounding the school, which is incomplete.
From the Ministry of Works and also Ministry of Education, they passed in the school today. So some attention is given, and I must commend the government for that. So we know, the PTA will just await as to, what are next steps. Because if we have the government providing, let's say, the fencing, along with the other work to be done, and we at least have a security on compound, the PTA can now look at ways to still raise funds so that we can, invest in some security devices.
Counselors from the Ministry of Education visited the school on Friday and, according to Cambridge, was again present on Monday, meeting with the students, and will hopefully return to speak with the students who are absent.
So the counselor will be back at the school on Wednesday, and fingers crossed that we have a higher turnout rate. If not, the counselor will come back so that, we don't leave any child behind.
The police have confirmed that the mentally challenged man was apprehended and is currently warded at the Mount Gay Psychiatric Hospital. For MTV News, I am Troy Gill.
IMF Mission Chief for Grenada, that's Hudan Lin, visited the island, and that's after not being able to do so last year due to the pandemic. She did note some of the areas that Grenada can be commended for, including how they effectively managed the economy during the pandemic. Some suggestions, they were also made by the IMF, in fact, the International Monetary Fund, on how Grenada can improve some of its sectors that have been affected. We have details on this from Donella Holston.
Grenada is among many countries in the Caribbean region that has been affected by the onset of COVID, causing an economic strain. But according to IMF Mission Chief for Grenada, Weedan Lin, Grenada's economy is recovering even after 2 years of facing the repercussions of the COVID pandemic. She says this is due to steps the government has taken.
But past fiscal prudence has helped a lot provide needed resources for the government to respond to the unprecedented COVID-19 shock. To counter the social and economic effects of the pandemic, the government suspended its fiscal rules in 2020 and 2021. One rightly so, to increase health, education, and capital expenditure. At the same time, loan moratoria has supported credit provision and mitigated the impact on Grenada's financial system. The economy now is recovering.
Lin says the country's GDP is estimated to have expanded by 5.6% last year. She went on to share some other statistics as well.
The fiscal balance, excluding interest payments, is estimated to have maintained a surplus of around 2% of GDP, and the public debt level declined to 70% of GDP in 2021. For this year, real GDP is projected to continue growing by 4.3%.
Although there are risks involved as it relates to the economy and certain sectors bouncing back, the IMF chief says there are some positives that can come from this.
On the positive side, however, the effective deployment of public investment and accelerating the introduction of growth-enhancing reforms would both support a stronger recovery.
A series of recommendations and suggestions were given by the IMF chief, which included the implementation of projects and a comprehensive pension reform. She says efforts are underway to improve the implementation of public investment projects. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Holston.
A 42-year-old vendor of Kirani James Boulevard, St. George's, was arrested and charged by officers attached to the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, with 2 counts of violent language and 1 count of insulting language. This after he'd allegedly threatened 2 jurors. The incident occurred last Monday after Floyd Buckmeyer, who was a complainant in a matter, was not satisfied with the ruling made by the High Court judge. Buckmeyer was granted bail in the sum of $15,000 with 1 surety. And that was to appear in court at a later date. This is the first time someone has been charged for threats toward jurors.
I see them coming and them coming and them coming. Sacrifice my soul and it's upon my flesh. Oh, I see them coming and them coming and them coming. They wanna see me in pain. They wanna see me fail. Oh, mankind shoot and they bomb on the still. And one another brother start to rise. Them climb on them back and put him down. Yes, they call me like wolf in sheep clothing. Smile on the face, hitting on the hands, knife in the hand, just to stab you in the back. But no weapons formed against you, yeah, shall never prosper, shall never prosper. Jah Jah guide me in this wicked world, from the plans and the tricks and the gimmicks and the works, and then they kind of set up in the enemy world. Jah Jah guide me in this wicked world. May I ask for the strength and the courage and the wisdom, chant the psalm a day and burn them like the fire, Lord. Jah Jah, please protect your children from the evil ones of this earth who trying to take their souls. I see them coming, they're coming, they're coming and they're coming and they're coming with a lot of hate, a lot of grudge and pride, and with a when you have to try to rise. How can they be so evil? You set up the altar to block out your dreams. Burn them in the fire, just burn them in the fire. Burn them in the fire. Yes, they come like wolf in sheep clothing. Smile on the face, hitting on the heart, knife in the hand, just to stab you at the back. But no weapons form against you, yeah, shall never prosper, shall never prosper. Jah Jah guide me in this wicked world, from the plans and the tricks and the gimmicks and the works, and then we can set up in the enemy world. Jah Jah guide me in this wicked world. May I ask for the strength and the courage and the wisdom, chant the psalm a day and burn them in the fire. Jah Jah guide me in this wicked world, from the plans and the tricks and the gimmicks and the works. Rise and shine.
Good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine for today, Tuesday. It's a new month. We are ushering in a new month. It's the first day of March, the third month in the year of 2022. It's moving so quickly, so quickly. I am your host, Oslin Crosby. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning, me and the team here at MTV. Always a pleasure waking you up the right start, giving you the right start to your day, and of course giving you that positive, that very positive way of taking you through what will be a very productive one. So as we do, we are already a bit behind time, so we will go straight into our planning session, in that of getting the forecast from the Met Office. So we go over to the Met Office down at Point Elliot for this morning's weather forecast. Good morning. Okay, so we are still waiting on the forecast. What we will do, though, this morning is a packed morning. We should be speaking to the General Secretary of the New National Party, Mr. Roland Bowler. We know that the NNP hosted their convention on Sunday, last Sunday. Feature presentations by Barbados' Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, and one of Grenada's most successful lawyers. Very proud to see this one from my parish, Akima Paul, was two of the guest speakers. Women power, that we call that. I understand from all indications, two very resounding feature presentations at Sunday's convention. And we will be hearing from the General Secretary this morning on the success of that, and of course moving forward, because we know that we are getting into that period. We are getting into that period. So I believe now we're ready with the weather report, so we go over to the Met Office. Good morning.
Good morning to Ms. Cosby.
Good morning, Mr. Robinson.
Good morning to our viewers at MTV. Let's take a look at weather.
Much, Jason. And that's the weather forecast for today. Remember, small craft advisory is in place, so please be mindful of this. I know we still have a number of people coming down from the Sister Isle, from carnival activities. Remember, there is a small craft advisory in place, so we ask that you exercise extra caution. Take extra caution as you may be making that journey, that voyage on today. It's important that we safeguard every life. One life we lose is way too much. And I know last week, Thursday, I did speak to this, the importance of safety, even though we want to have fun, ensure that it's done safely. So what we're going to do is take a quick break. We don't have our first guest on yet. I think we're having a bit of a technical difficulty there. But we're going to take that quick break and let's get that sorted out. By the time we get back in, we should be having our first conversation today.
The next chapter in West Indies' biggest rivalry continues. West Indies flies against England for the Apex Test Series in 3 test matches. Tickets start as low as $20 and local residents enjoy an additional 50% discount with online purchase. Must be fully vaccinated to attend all matches and COVID-19 protocols will be in effect. Secure your seats to the action. Get your tickets in advance at windiescricket.com/tickets. Terms and conditions apply.
The Nawasa app brings the power of Nawasa's customer service experience to you. Instant, conversational, and smart. Easy access anywhere. Get bill balance, transaction history for up to 6 months, report a fault, link to websites, view payment centers, contact information, push notifications, and multi-tenant accounts, all in a secure login platform. Like a self-service concierge app, mobile.nawasa.gd gets you the support you need much faster. Available on both Android and iOS platforms. mobile.nawasa.gd, your customer support companion. Nawasa, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Introducing the Grenlec mobile app. You can now get your bill balance and easily track energy usage for your home or business. Report and receive alerts about power outages. Plus, stay up to date by receiving the latest notifications. Yes, the Grenlec app keeps you connected anytime, anywhere. The Grenlec mobile app. Download for 24/7 access.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Unfortunately, we don't have our first guest on as yet. He seemed to be having a bit of a technical challenge there, but what we would do, we continue to try, and what we will do is just chit-chat a bit as we wait on him to join us. Hopefully, he will get through soon. As I was saying before we went on the break, last Sunday, the NNP hosted their first convention. In this cycle, I think we are all aware that we are getting into that charged season, where elections may be looming. From all indications, both the two main political parties here on Ireland seem to be preparing. The caretakers have been presented, teams have been presented, conventions held. At last Sunday's convention, the political leader retained his place. Dr. Keith Mitchell, the General Secretary, Mr. Roland Bowler. The Chairman is now Mr. Oliver Joseph. Deputy Clarice Modeste Kerwin, the Deputy. And the structure basically remains the same. Deputy Political Leader Gregory Bowen. And it is interesting, this morning we should be speaking to Mr. Bowler as so we move forward. And I know that everybody's trying to figure out what's happening now. First convention held. We will see an upsurge in activities, I believe, because it is usually an indication as to what's coming. Some people may try to put timelines, but we all know that only one person knows when that time will come, and we await. In the meantime, I know everybody's asking, or rather, both political parties are asking supporters to get registered, as that's the only way you will be able to exercise that constitutional right come election day, whenever it is. Constitutionally due on 2023, but we know it can be called at any time. So what are the plans? Now we're hearing there are lots of meetings, town hall meetings. I encourage all, go out there, listen to the message from both parties. Come election day, you make the choice. You make your choice. It is your right. It is your right to vote. And to me, engaging in the controversial pieces, while yes, we know that we would always have the people who love to argue, and so let us try to avoid it as much as we possibly can, because we know that sometimes they can get out of hand, and they do end up in unnecessary squabbles and sometimes injury to others. So the right that we have, listen to the offerings of both political parties and make your choice. Make your choice. That right you have as a Grenadian citizen. So that was convention. On Sunday, it was a weekend of festivities on the Sister Isle, as yes, it was a late announcement, as with this whole pandemic, the volatile nature of everything, it takes time. And last Monday, the Minister for Carriacou and PT Martinique Affairs announced that Carriacou was going to have their holiday last Monday. That did happen, which was yesterday. It was a weekend of festivals. It was of fetes and a celebration of kayak culture. While it was not because you did not have the time to do the organization. But in addition to that, we know that also Spice Mass is coming in August. So it was the first of two for the year. We are quite a privileged island. Two carnivals in 1 year. And many Grenadians did go up and try to be a part of it. I'm sure it was a good one. So what we encourage those still on the Sister Isle to do is ensure that you get home safely. As we said, from the forecasters, there is a marina small craft advisory in place, so please be mindful. Please be mindful of that. And as you make that journey, make sure that it's a safe one. If you're in doubt, please don't do it. Don't do it. So we were waiting for, I believe we do have Mr. Bowler on now. Okay, excellent. We do have him on. And we also have our second guest, I think, already joining us. But what we would do is we would chit-chat with Mr. Bowler first, and then Ms. Roach, just in case you and Ms. Mills are listening to us, we will be coming over to you shortly once we conclude with Mr. Bowler. Good morning, Mr. Bowler. Thank you so much. I know it was a bit of a challenge this morning, but we do appreciate you going the extra mile to ensure that you're on with us today.
Thank you, and very good morning to you and your listeners. It is a pleasure indeed to join you this morning on the Rise and Shine.
Yes, it is a pleasure for us to have you with us. General Secretary of the party, I know that your position you retained at the convention on Sunday, and many questions, some we know for sure you would not be able to answer. Only one person holds the answer that everyone seems to be looking for, and it's definitely not you. Your time in active politics, you have transitioned into now a more sedentary part of it, more in that of the logistics, the back end of things. So we won't even bother getting to that question. But I think what we are interested in, moving forward now from the convention, last Sunday's convention, I think it is safe to say that it was a success. Let us first go to that, let's review that, and then we speak to what moving forward, what to expect.
Thank you again for the question. Of course, we consider last Sunday's activity by the party to have been a success. It's for the first time we have had
a convention held in the form that it did. So it was in some ways history making for us. We were at 7 different locations. That is unusual for an NNP convention, for most party convention. But we had to consider the era that we're living in. We're still very much challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic. There was a need for us as a party and as a party in government to follow the protocols, exactly what we'd want every other Grenadian to do. And hence the reason we had to have our convention scheduled in segments. So you had Carriacou and Petit Martinique in one area at the conference room at the Lorraine Heights Hotel in Carriacou. We had St. Andrews Southeast and Southwest at the St. Andrews Anglican Secondary School, commonly known as SAS. St. Andrews Northeast and Northwest at the Patrick Government School, both St. Patrick's East and West at the McDonald's College, St. John's and St. Mark's at St. Mark's Secondary, and of course, St. George's Northwest and Northeast at the Happy Hill Secondary School. And then you had the main hub, so to speak, at the Trade Center, which consisted of delegates and observers from the town of St. George, South St. George, Southeast St. George, and St. David. So it was a kind of hybrid. But all of the activities in the closed session during the morning went on very well, with very little kinks to it, save and except now and again when the technology sort of failed us for a moment. And then we had an afternoon session that was packed with information. We had 2 featured speakers, our own Akima Paul Lambert, and of course, we had PM Mia Motley out of Barbados, fresh from elections one, but someone who has made her mark in the region, and I guess it's throughout the world, as a regionalist in terms of her leadership and her approach to Caribbeanism and the issues and challenges, which she spoke so well of. So yes, it was a success.
Historic, because we are living in a different time, and I think that's something that we can both appreciate, that COVID has created new opportunities for us to function. And there is no going back. We know moving forward, there will be no excuse for others or people missing certain things, as we will be able to accommodate you, be it physically or hybrid. So the convention has passed, a success. I think we agreed to that. Moving forward, what to expect from now on? Will we see more meetings in our communities? What to expect now from the new National Party?
We all understand that we are in a time zone where an election is imminent. Constitutionally, it is not due until 2023, and I believe from the way it is calculated, we have until June of 2023, by which time you can call. But we know, based on the Westminster style of democracy, that the Prime Minister of any country has that power, has that element of surprise, can call the election anytime. And in most instances, will call an election when they believe that their party or government is in the best position to become victorious. But from a party's standpoint, we are going to intensify on the work that we have been doing. We have been ever present. We have never left the people. We have never left the ground. We have never stopped doing our organizational work. What we will do going forward is intensify. There's a need for it because we do not, as a party, wish to take anything for granted. We know that the government has performed well. In a crisis period, we have done far better than most of our neighboring islands. That being said, though, it is not enough for us to rest on our laurels and believe it is sufficient to convince the Canadian man, woman, or any youth that is over 18 that they should vote the NNP. We still have to bring the message to the people. We still have to show them our intent. We still have to explain to them our plans for the future. And not just the plans, but how we are going to implement it, what we will do, where the resources will come from, who will be the people working along with them. And to remind them of the past to a certain extent, because having built the foundation for the many years that the government has been around, it puts us in a position now where we can plateau from where we are to make Grenada even better than it has been.
So intensifying activities, I'm thinking that would be Canada. Or is this our final slate?
Well, we have filling at least the 3 vacant positions or positions, constituencies that had become vacant. St. Patrick's West, because Brother Anthony Boswin did indicate as early as the last election that was going to be his final time at the polls. And so we've seen sometime during the period of last year, 2021, that Mr. Victor Philip came in as the caretaker. May I just say, though, that a caretaker position is a political position. It has nothing to do with government or the governance of the country. So Honorable Boson still remains the parliamentary representative for the constituency. But politically speaking, we have to prepare that when the end of his term comes, somebody new must take over. And why a caretaker? You are a caretaker to help do the political work so that you can be judged and assessed. And after that process, you may get the nod to be the candidate. So a caretaker is not necessarily a candidate. You can become the candidate as well as there can be reasons why you are not made the candidate. A similar thing happened in the south of the island where we had Nolan Cox at the end of January, 30th January, being placed in as the caretaker, again because of indication by Honorable Steele, that is Nicholas Steele now, that he has come to the end of his stint. And thirdly, in St. George Northeast, that was a seat held by the NNP in the person of Honorable Tobias Clement, some time ago has decided he has come to the end of his time with the NNP, and so the NNP had to bring in someone. For the other constituencies, up until now, the people that are there as representatives have not indicated their desire not to function again in that position, but it also will take the party to do all of the assessments and the verifications and be guided by the data from what we're picking up from the people, whether or not there must be other changes. But for now, we are satisfied that we're moving forward.
Okay. With considered final slate, I want to make reference to an article I saw in the paper on the weekend from one Kennedy Budlal, considered one of our experienced political commentators or followers of our politics here, speaking to that of, and you spoke to it a while ago, that not because of the government or the NNP's performance during the COVID pandemic and over time, and it speaks also to the theme of the convention last Sunday, and I believe also going into what we are getting into as our campaign, that of the complacency or people being in a very comfortable place that the NNP is okay and will win the next election. And I heard you speak to it a while ago, and I'm happy that you did speak to it, because his comments, I guess it was based on his observation from supporters in the various constituencies. What say you on this, even though you spoke to it earlier?
And that's a pretty good question, Oslin. Human nature is like that. You get to a place of comfort, you start to believe that now you are untouchable, that you are capable of just reaching your hands out and gathering anything that you want. That's what human nature would want us to believe. However, we have also learned that people are at their best when they are challenged. He did not do 100 meters in 9 seconds because he was running all by himself. So while we do not give a lot of credit to those who came in second, third, fourth, or fifth place, and the light is being shown on the winner, the gold medalist, he was able to do what he did. One, because of constant hard training and a lot of behind the scenes work. But secondly, because on the day of competition, he was challenged. So he had to put his best out. Yes? So the more challenge we get, the better we will work. And that being said, though, I do agree that there's some level of complacency among some of our supporters. They feel untouchable. They feel that we have done this thing for so long, so well, that now we have gotten to the pinnacle. But I personally, from where I sit, and I know the leadership of the party does not feel that way. We constantly encourage people to do what needs to be done, get your friends, your relatives to register, because it is the lifeblood of the political movement. Be kind to people all the time, because we talk about PR, and sometimes we believe PR is just the things we say, being on a program like this or being on the radio. But we consider PR to be a way of life, the way you treat people, the way you greet people, what you do for them in the time of greatest need. And we encourage our members all the time. Reach out to the less fortunate, make yourself available. Throughout the term in office, we speak about something in our camp called soft politics. Yes, we believe when it is not time to hit the road for hard camp, what is called soft politics, reaching out to people, making them know that you're there and you still care and you're willing to help. Yes, and we've been doing that. But we need to intensify it now. We need to do more. We probably need to speak up a bit more, because there's so many things that have happened and are still happening that the public doesn't know about, and we need to bring it to the front page, and so that people can see it and understand it. So I do agree with you, and I do agree with Mr. Budal, although I have not seen or read the article, that there are some levels of complacency, but we are aware of it and we are working on it, and we will continue to work on it until we touch every soul, every human being in this country, to let them know that NNP is still alive, still willing to work hard, and wants to win the next election.
All right. A different time, a different team coming up against the New National Party, a new leader on the opposition end, younger, green team. That has nothing to do with competition. I think we can both agree to that. But what will the New National Party be doing different outside of COVID and the time in which we live as it relates to this election compared to the past?
I agree with you about new leadership, younger leadership from our opponents. Yes, that in and of itself has created a little stir for some people. Has energized some of the participants of the party, the opposition party. However, though, we believe in NNP that a good mix of youthful exuberance and experience is needed to continue to cross the turbulent waters that are still before us. We are seeing the cases of COVID settled in a little bit. And so some people may take it for granted that now we have come to the end of it. COVID is still very, very much present and very relevant, and still needs the attention as it has been given the very first day it came around in our country. We want to mix that wealth of experience, knowledge, and skills, good management that we have shown before, with the young people that we have. And we want to assure the Grenadian people that, look, youth is necessary, and youth has always been important, especially to the New National Party. As a matter of fact, I consider the New National Party as the nursery for the preparation of young people for politics and other vocations in life. Yes, it is not just who emerges as the political leader. Is there an age limit or an age range that you are best suited to be a leader? Is there an extreme? You must be 20 or you must be 60, or, you know, unless someone can say to me that it has been proven that a person cannot perform and do well at a certain age, then I will be convinced. I think we still have a very, very strong, vibrant, useful, and energetic leader. Yes, a time will come for change. We are aware of that. We are preparing for it. We are doing the necessary things we need to do as a party to bring about that change in due time. However, we need to go out there and sell the policies of the NNP, which has always been one man, one vote, equality in everything that we do, not treating one sector of the society better than the next. And sometimes people can point fingers and may even have facts to show that all of what we prescribe that we will be, that we have not been. And we'll have to accept that mistakes was made along the way. And anyone will make mistakes, whether it is youthful leadership or experienced leadership. However, though, when put together, when checking the track record, the NNP are leaps ahead of anyone else, any other political party. And I'm not just talking about the NDC as the main opposition party in Grenada. Any other political party that comes around, they cannot match the leadership style, abilities, the management of the NNP as a political party like the NNP is doing.
Okay. As we do have another guest waiting. I know your technical challenge this morning, but we will have another conversation, I am sure. But before you run off, expectations for what, from all indications, is gearing up to be a campaign season. Expectations on both sides, the NNP and also the opposition, and also the electorate, because we know that while, yes, as party, the two parties do have supporters and you will guide them, but we also know that the electorate have quite a mind of their own. And when they do, it is when I was speaking to earlier, when things can get a bit controversial. I am hoping that COVID has given us some time to think, that we have regrouped, that we will go into this season, one, listening to the policies and programs and plans of the parties, and we make an informed decision. What are your expectations on both?
Well, exactly what you've said. Just last night, not to bring in another program, I did, along with our PRO sister, Emmeline Pierre, the Beyond the Headlines program with GBN. And in my final comments, I did ask people to make informed decision. Listen, I will encourage the electorates to listen. Listen to what has to be said, but not just listen and consume. Listen and research. Ask yourself questions. Ask those who are giving the information and making the statements certain questions, because it is easy to say. It is easy to promise. I've been in frontline politics. I've contested on 3 separate occasions, and fortunately have been successful on all 3 occasions. And sometimes as politicians, we go a little above board. We sometimes promise more than we know we can deliver, because of course we're trying to be as convincing as possible. Let us as a people stay within the realms of reality. We know it is hard time. These times are not easy to maneuver. They're not easy to captain, to navigate. And so we have to listen attentively, but we also have to ask ourselves, am I hearing what is possible, or am I being told a package because it sounds nice, but will be impossible? And we already start hearing promises being made that for any person with a sane mind and anyone who has any idea and understanding of how our country runs, how monies are being collected by government, what level of taxation you can put on your people that they can afford and have them still living reasonably comfortable. We would ask ourselves whether or not some of these promises can really be fulfilled. So it is necessary for our people to listen, not just to the NNP. I am an NNP, and I would hope and wish that more of Grenadians would listen and accept our policies and programs. But at the same time, you need to give a listening ear to the opponents. They may have something, they may say something, they may have a plan that looks feasible. But let's examine all of what we hear on both sides, and let us make informed and credible decisions, remembering that the choice we make when we go to the polls will determine the kind of future that we have and what we're preparing for our generation to come, our children and grandchildren.
Excellent. That's a good way to end this morning with you, Mr. Bola. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. We will have another go at this. We have to continue this conversation as things move into high gear. I know you will have updates. You will have more to share. And we will be speaking to you again. I really do appreciate you trying until you did get through this morning. We do apologize, though, for that glitch.
Thank you very much, and I'll make myself available when next you call.
Thank you so much. That was General Secretary of the New National Party, Mr. Roland Bowler, speaking to us this morning. Just a recap of what happened on Sunday at the NNP's convention, and also moving forward, expectations, what will be happening, and also expectations from all, not just the New National Party, but from the opposition party, from the electorate. What are the expectations? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back in, we get to speak to the GTA.
Say hello to Grenada's hidden gem, Mandela Court, a Grenadian-owned luxury boutique hotel tucked away in Lansipine. Our fully equipped suites are now complemented by an international standard restaurant and conference room. So whether you're having a formal business event, quaint garden wedding, or just a relaxed dinner for two, you can count on Mandela Court for that luxurious experience. Call today to book your viewing or reservation. We look forward to welcoming you.
Introducing the Grenlec mobile app. You can now get your bill balance and easily track energy usage for your home or business. Report and receive alerts about power outages. Plus, stay up to date by receiving the latest notifications. Yes, the Grenlec app keeps you connected anytime, anywhere. The Grenlec mobile app. Download for 24/7 access.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Welcome back. So as indicated before we went on the break, it's already 8:23, but we will be doing this as it is important. We are in the midst of Kayak Mass, and in the celebration of all the festivities, we have more to celebrate. And this morning, joining us from the GTA, head of the GTA, Miss Petra Roach, and also one of the project development officers, and on the sister aisle, Rena Mills, the CEO of the GTA, that is Ms. Petra Roach, and Rena Mills from Good Morning and welcome.
Morning. Good morning, and thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Ooh, I'm getting a terrible feedback. All right, so sorry about that. We are getting just a little, but I think we're good now. So we are celebrating Kayak Mass. We got a late announcement But in addition to that, we have so much more to celebrate. Ms. Roach, I don't even want to say it. I am going to allow you to make the grand announcement, and then Rena will pitch in because it is a Carriacou celebration. So, Ms. Roach, I will allow you to make that that announcement this morning on that we have just added some more to all that we're celebrating.
So, good morning to all the viewers, and it really is an exciting time for us. On Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock our time, the USA Today top 10 Best Choice Awards were announced. And I'm pleased to say that not only did Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique get 10 awards in 6 categories, but that we also won the top beach in the Caribbean, and that was Paradise Beach in Carriacou. And then in 3rd place was Grand Anse, obviously here on Grenada.
That is great.
In Kayak Mass. And I think now is a good time for us to bring in Rena and all of this. Yes, Grenadans, we are celebrating with our brothers and sisters on the Sister Isle through Kayak Mass, but this adds to just selling the island, Rena. Speak to us about the likely implication, maybe not for this year because we know the Mass it ends today, but definitely for the many festivities that Carriacou do observe throughout the year.
Exactly. In Country Boy's song, Come and See, it says not just beautiful beach, but a culture that is so rich. We often boast of our many traditions, cultural traditions here on island. Our string band music, our big drum, our Shakespeare Mass that will be played this morning. And adding to that now, we are recognized officially. If you come to Carriacou, many people will see Paradise Beach is lovely. Paradise Beach is a gem. Paradise Beach is one of the best beaches in the world. And now it is official that Paradise Beach is named the best beach in the Caribbean. So that's a big deal for us here on island. And I know during the promotions, many visitors came here because I guess they saw it going around and they wanted to come and see that for themselves. And even during the live on Friday, while we were hosting the ceremony and the celebration, many people in the diaspora, I saw them commenting to say, oh, I want to come and see for myself. Oh, I want to be part of this. And some of them were giving testimony of the great time that they had on the Paradise Beach and want to come back. So I know there'll be an influx of visitors coming here to experience that for themselves.
That is great.
Great. Ms. Roach, I think you would agree with me when we say that whatever you're doing at the GTA, that it is working and that we are selling Grenada as we should. And now we have even more to celebrate. So we're celebrating, we are fortunate. We are a tri-island state. We have 3 islands that we can boast of. And in addition to this, 10 awards in 6 categories. Carriacou featured.
I would like to say that if you've seen recently, we've had so many of the well-known Grenadians who are out in the diaspora, you know, the Yvette Noel Shores, the Sidel Noels, the Amanda Seals, the Fee Noels, the Aisha Hines, etc., who recognize that we've gone through a really difficult time with this pandemic and that their own value, their own visibility can help to put us on the map now that people are thinking about going out and purchasing holidays, etc. So we want to give a big shout out to them. We have had so many influencers come to the island in the recent past, and that really helps to amplify our voice and our visibility in the source markets. But I think when it all boils down, it really is about the pride that the local Grenadians, kayaks and people from Petite Martinique take in their country to make sure that it is beautiful for themselves and then also by extension for anyone who comes here. So we will continue to the fight. We at the GTA continue to advocate for people to not litter, to keep the country green and clean, for us to ensure that we are recognizing that we shouldn't be using single plastics because it affects the ecosystem. And these are our natural, scarce natural resources that we really have to take care of. So we will continue to share the great news and to ensure that the tourism product that comes through continues to come through in a very authentic and inspirational way.
All right. I like that commitment there to ensuring that, because we know 10 awards, 6 categories, we have to keep copying a lot more. We know that it will happen with continued work from the GTA and its team out there, that we will be able to maintain, not just cop the titles, but maintain our beauty, maintain all that we are celebrating now and more. In addition to this, how do we now capitalize on the fact that we have copped this, and we have spoken to the reviews and so from people under the celebration when the announcement was made last Friday, who wanting to come to see on their own? How do we now ensure that, because we now have a platform where we have a reason now, people have a reason to come to the island. How do we now showcase everything else that's beautiful about Carriacou? And I want to focus on Carriacou now, because all spotlights are on Carriacou. It's Kayak Mass time, but along with it, we know that Carriacou is a very, very cultural place. And Rena spoke to it a while ago. How do we now continue this? I know the tradition is very much alive. Shakespeare Mass and all the others are very much alive. How does the GTA now plan to take all of this uniqueness, this sweetness of Carriacou, and sell it to the rest of the world?
About this at the press briefing recently, where for the summer we are going to be running promotion where anyone who books a holiday to Grenada actually will get a day pass on the Osprey to go down to Carriacou and see it, and by extension they can then decide that they want to stay a bit longer, and they can extend that. We also have started incorporating it into the various events that we're running. So you would have seen that for the recent Grenada Sailing Week, we actually didn't just stay around Grenada. We actually sailed down to Carriacou, did around the island race there, and then came back up. So we recognize that we haven't really fully capitalized on that strong advantage that we have, which is that we've got one destination, but actually 3 islands that people can participate and play in. So that's going to be a big push for us. And obviously we've got challenges in terms of the transportation to Carriacou now. But at the same time, we recognize that a lot of businesses have been really hard hit by this pandemic. So we are going to be doing a lot of hand holding to make sure that we have those basic necessities, those basic requirements in place, which is transportation is the biggest one of that. So hopefully we should be making an announcement shortly about number one, the flying into Carriacou, and looking at whether or not we can extend that rather than just from Grenada, but also from a couple of other destinations within the Caribbean. And then, as I said, the Osprey is going to play a very important part. They're currently traveling 3 times a week down to Carriacou. So we just want to make sure that we can ramp that back up and get it back to a daily service.
Okay. Great news. Daily service, I think we would all accept here, because we look forward to it, especially now when I know a lot of people want to move. It does create quite an inconvenience, but we understand the time. COVID has dealt quite a blow on all our sectors, and we are recovering now. We are recovering. Rena, before we run off, I just want to ask you, you did speak to the festivities, you spoke to the celebration. Ms. Roach spoke to upcoming plans, the GTA's plans on how we plan to continue to harness this, make it bigger and better. There will be a big announcements coming soon. As the product officer on the ground on the Sister Isle, it means that the GTA has a bigger policy plan. As the one on the ground, it means therefore that you are now charged. You have a huge responsibility in your hand to ensure that you work with your colleague ministries or so on island, and ensure that that culture that we know and that we celebrate, we come to be a part of, and we can always boast of on the Sister Isle. As somebody described Carriacou, Carriacou is one of the 8 wonders of the world. Ms. Roach, I think you would take that one, definitely one of the 8 wonders of the world. Rena, how can we ensure that what is unique about Carriacou remains in Carriacou, that there is transition, that our younger people knows of it, that it does not stay and die with our elders, but that there is continuity to that very, very unique product that is available on the Sister Isle.
So I guess you're reading my mind, because I meant to jump in just after Petra. The Grenada Tourism Authority, I know that we've been doing marvelous work here on island. Before marketing, we have to ensure that our product is developed. And we have been doing that, as you mentioned, in the area of culture. We would have worked with all the schools in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, both primary and secondary schools, in order to ensure that the culture is sustained. I am sure many people know of the band Carriacou Culture Train, and this is a brainchild of the Grenada Tourism Authority. They have traveled both locally, regionally, and soon to be internationally representing the island. We have to work with the schools, as I said, in the area of big drum dance. We did many trainings in that regard. We train the students of Petit Martinique. And while we do this training, these students, they participate during the festivals on islands. For example, when we did the big drum training in Petit Martinique, they were able to participate in the Whitsuntide festivities there and other cultural activities. We have trained children in the area of Shakespeare Mass. And to date, we continue training, because every festival time, we ensure that we work with an individual to train the students. In the area of string band music, we train the students from both primary and secondary schools on the island. So we have done many training sessions. Besides that, we are working with our stakeholders, the ministry, the Carriacou Petit Martinique Festival Board, all the different committees, festival committees, to ensure that our product is developed, ensure that our product is ready to market. So I think that we have been doing great in that regard, and we will continue. I know that COVID placed a setback on it for the last 2 years, because, school was not as regular, but it's something that we want to continue doing, and we will continue to do. Even Paradise Beach, one of the plans for GTA this year was to do an enhancement products. We thought that, okay, we're going to work on the beaches this year, because over the years we've been working on our different heritage sites, historical sites. We only last year launched the Limbless site. So now we're working on the beaches for this year, and we're doing something with Cyril Bay and now Paradise Beach. We thought, okay, we're going to do an enhancement project there, repair the gazebos, make sure there are lights on the beach. So we're working along with Grenlec on that, and many other things that we want to do there. And that was our plan for this year. And now that we win this award, I think it's in the opportune time. So great things will be coming up from Carriacou, and I know that many will travel here to see that. And I just want to take the opportunity to say, from my end in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, GTA and in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, I know that Ms. Roach will come in there as well, to say a special thank you for all those who made this a reality. I know that when we were asking people to vote for Paradise Beach, even those in Grenada thought, okay, I want to vote for Paradise Beach. I know that Ms. Roach, Petra even voted Paradise Beach, my manager, Mrs. Hoshtiali. And I think that's a great deal. That's a big thing for us here on island. And we want to encourage persons on mainland Grenada. I know that during our Paradise at Home campaign, many people came over to Carriacou, and we want to continue encouraging, come over to Carriacou, come experience what we have here on island. And I know that you will continue coming once you experience that.
Great. Ms. Roach, I think you'll want to chime in here.
Do you know what? I think in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we've got Shadikover in Petit Martinique, and then Rena and Damali in Carriacou, and we're really proud of all the work that they continue to do. And certainly from a marketing perspective, we continue to package and share, because people are looking for different at the minute. They're looking for that unspoilt, that pristine, that authentic beauty. And we've got this wonderful, wonderful product that we're going to start with to share with the world. We're going to share it very carefully, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the visitors that we are attracting to the island come and they become a part of the community, and they also take care of the community that we're building here and all our natural resources. That's really important. I think that, you know, you can get anybody who wants to come and sit on a beach. That's not who we're going after. We're going after people who want to be good global citizens. We're going after people who want to give back to the community, who have a very green philosophy, because that is who we are. And that is the product that will, if we want to ensure its viability and its sustainability, that's what we've got to continue in terms of our strategic approach.
Excellent, Ms. Roach. I think from your input there, we have a very good idea as to where we are going. We are looking forward to many more, because with a plan like that and that strategy, we will be attracting so many more accolades, so many prizes, and we'll be winning a lot more awards. We will be winning many more awards. I want to say thank you to you and the team at the GTA. As we conclude, any parting words on your end, any upcoming campaigns or as such that we may need to be involved in, because we know to take an island, it takes us as a people, all of us, to ensure that these awards are attracted to us, because we have a part to play. So as we run off, just some parting words on that.
So obviously the biggest thing that we've got coming up besides Spice Mass is the cricket, which we are really privileged to be hosting the third and final test match. So I've already said my prayers, and I'm already hoping that by the time the match gets to Grenada, that it's 1-1, and we will have a nail-biting finish and a full stand with loads of happy, excited spectators, and also visitors and locals alike really enjoying and partaking of the cricket excitement.
I think we are all looking forward to that one. After 2 years of being limited somewhat to get into the stadium and other activities, it is going to definitely be the best icebreaker that we can ask for.
Absolutely. Got my bets on who I think is going to win, and I keep manifesting it. It has to continue. So I hope everybody manifests the same thing.
I agree.
We have to attract what we want, yes? Our outcome. So before we run off, Rena, any parting words from you?
Yeah. Again, I just want to say a special thank you to everyone who made this a reality, those at home and in the diaspora. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And we are the GTA. We know our mandate. We know what we ought to do. And we are a hard-working team, and we'll continue getting our work done. Thank you again.
Great. Thank you so much to both our guests this morning, Ms. Petra Roach, CEO of the GTA, and Rena Mills, Product Development Officer on the Sister Isle. Ms. Roach, we're looking forward to hearing more from you. Mini Carnival coming up at the cricket, and that's this month because March is here, and then we are preparing for Spice Mass. Big things, but we continue to sell this beautiful gem of ours to the world, and we welcome all as Grenada is open. So, Ms. Roach, do have yourself a wonderful day, and thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're most welcome.
And then we had two of our second guest, our concluding interview this morning, Ms. Petra Roach, CEO of the GTA, and Rena Mills, Product Development Officer of the Sister Isle. We have got another 10 awards in 6 categories. #1 beach in the region, going out to Paradise Beach on the Sister Isle of Carriacou, and that's according to USA Today. #1 beach in the region. A lot to celebrate, and we have our very own Grandans Beach in 3rd place. So we are celebrating, we continue to celebrate. And as I said, this comes in such a fitting time as we celebrate Kayak Mass after 2 years of no carnival. Yes, it was a late announcement, but a welcomed one, as we did see people having a good time. No reports of any major incidents, so I guess it is working well. People are using the opportunity to just exhale, just exhale and breathe. Breathe as we slowly get out of this pandemic. Remember, we are not entirely out of the woods. COVID is still around. We still see cases, but we recognize that if we continue to manage this well, we play our part in this, that it will not get out of hand. So that's what we conclude for this morning. On behalf of the team, Elton, Panchu, Chad, Tanya, thank you so much for another successful program. We are grateful. The extended family, MTV extended team, we say thank you again. Our sponsors, thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting this program. We do appreciate that support, your continued commitment to ensuring that this happen. To our guest, thank you again for making it happen, coming on and ensuring that you share with us as planned, making this program what it has been. So from myself, Oslin Crosby, I say thank you so much. Thank you so much to all our viewing audience in the diaspora here on Magic FM. We do appreciate you taking time out to join us here each Tuesday and Thursday morning as we share with you here on Rise and Shine. So I'll be back here with you, God's will, on Thursday morning, all things remaining the same, when we give you that perfect start to your day. Have yourself a wonderful day. Remember, be safe. It's not entirely over with COVID. We still have to play our part in ensuring that we keep our numbers down, we keep our families safe. Have a good day, everybody.
Shine.